Well, that may be true at international level, but near the grassroots there are still plenty of opportunities to be involved without a pool's win. The journal Autocross series has certainly done much to fill this need. This Sunday the championship moves to its most northerly point, Berwick, for the second round. And so, at this early stage, there will still be extra interest in the sport's latest plan to show you can compete and keep your bank manager happy as well. Roger Thames now reports.
Autocross has always given the ordinary motorsport fan the chance to get involved in racing himself. But the danger with any form of motorsport is that as interest develops, the cars become more sophisticated, and so the sport gradually becomes too expensive for many of the drivers to stay competitive. That's why in Autocross they've introduced a new economy class, specifically to keep the sport within reach of as many people as possible. These minis may look the same as their predecessors, but their preparation is strictly limited. The organisers claim that you can be ready to race for, on average, £300. But Ian Sandwith and Angela Sandy insist they built their car for only £200. And of course, by sharing the car, they halve the driving costs. Most of the minis are salvaged from the scrapyards. Series organiser Terry Wright explained how he built his car.
This is basically a standard mini shell. However, for autocross you require one or two safety aspects. The roll cage, which is a full roll cage going right the way around the car, is an absolute necessity. Should the car be involved in an accident, it's going to protect the driver. Also required are full harness seat belts. This is there purely and simply again to hold the driver in place, not only while he's competing, but should the car end up upside down, he's going to be held firmly. Bucket seat isn't absolutely necessary, but at the same point it's a good idea because it holds the driver in place. Obviously standard glass in a car isn't a good thing when you're competing, and in fact is not allowed in the RAC rules. So consequently we've gone to perspex on this windscreen and on the side panels, not just for lightness but again for safety point of view. Moving to the front of the car, we have a battery isolation switch which is there to safeguard the car electrics from, if there happens to be an accident, the marshal can soon switch it off. Under the bonnet, which we're using a one-piece fiberglass front end on this car, we have the tyres which are mandatory for this particular class and retail at around about £9 a piece. They've already done one season and there's plenty of tread left. The engine is basically standard Mini Cooper, running a standard 1.5-inch SU that you could obtain off an Austin 1300, and again from a safety point of view, strengthening because the front end's been removed. And that is basically it.
The Journal series introduced economy races last year as an experiment, but they've become the first championship to stage a full class over a whole 13-meeting series. Autocross is a time trial, not a race for positions, and though it may look fairly punishing, running costs are surprisingly low, with accidents comparatively rare. But obviously, if you aim to be competitive for around the £300 mark, you do need a reasonable mechanical knowledge so you can prepare the car yourself.
Anybody with a normal DIY level of mechanical ability will be able to produce one of these cars without any difficulty at all. For grass fields, certainly, the cars prove to be able to get the power down a lot better than the more high-powered vehicles. There's no difficulty, the cars are very easy to drive. Again, because they are relatively basic, you're not getting very far away from the normal Mini on the road.
Well, they say this is the class for novices after all, so there's no bigger novice than me, ask anybody. Actually, have you seen the car my wife drives around in her Mini? This won't be too unfamiliar, but Terry, you better give me a few tips before I actually start.
Right, well if you'd like to start it up.
That's down here.
Give it a bit of throttle. Clear it up a little bit, just rev it a little bit just to clear it. Right. Take care on the run up to the second corner, it's a little bit bumpy, but apart from that, good luck.
I don't need to get out of second gear, is that it?
Second gear.
Right. Right, off we go. Start off in first, straight into second. I think the main problem is going to be seeing where I'm going. Into the first bend. Yes, this is the bumpy part like this. Try and take it easy on these straight steps like that. I think that was taking it easy. Into the top bend here, try and accelerate out. A bird's just flown away. I can't say I blame it too much. This is the fast bit coming into the bottom bend. It's a lot easier when there aren't any other drivers here, I can tell you that.
And if you fancy seeing some autocross without Roger Thames, Sunday's meeting beginning at 1:30 is taking place just north of Haggerston on the A1.